Inspirational Conduct, the young musician who's beaten chronic illness to get to the top.
Voters in a Sussex constituency that could be a key battleground in the next general election are being given the chance to choose their Conservative candidate, regardless of the party they support.
Well, the selection process in the Brighton Pavilion constituency follows a trial in the Devon seat of Totnes, where voters selected a local GP with no previous political experience. Bryony Mansfield joins us live from Brighton now. And Bryony, senior Conservatives believe this is the way forward, but their opponents are dismissing it as a bit of a gimmick, aren't they?
But it's not often that political parties agree with each other, and this really isn't one of those times. The feeling is that the Conservatives are trying to dip into the undecideds. Spoke to Labour and the Greens today. They've already announced their party candidates, but there is a feeling that anything could happen.
With 75,000 eligible voters and viewed as an unpredictable seat, Brighton Pavilion is being touted as just the place to try out a scheme like this.
It will give them the opportunity to question the candidates and to see the party in action, which some wouldn't have seen before. Some people may not have voted before. There'll be people from other parties there. So it's a chance for people at Brighton Pavilion to have their say.
And it's making headlines. Just last month in Devon, voters in Totnes selected a GP with no political background or experience as their Conservative candidate. But the battle for the Pavilion seat, which has been held by Labour for the past 13 years, will be a very tough fight. At the last general election in 2005, Labour held on to the seat for the third election in a row, with a 5,000 vote majority over the Conservatives. But it was the Greens who made the most gains. This time around, the Green Party candidate, Caroline Lucas, has a lot of support, and Labour's David Lepper is standing down.
I think it's going to be an interesting experiment. Obviously, the Conservatives in Brighton Pavilion have to do something to attract attention. They had a candidate for 2 or 3 years who really didn't establish a very high profile, and then in the summer left them in the lurch, really just a few months before a general election. So obviously they're in a bit of a fix.
But what do the voters think?
I don't think it's a good idea. There's something to be said for clear distinctions between political parties and parties which have different ideologies.
Any MP who represents a party usually has to toe the party line, so in that sense I don't really think that would make a difference.
It's a really unpredictable seat, this, and by doing this sort of thing the Conservatives may think this is their best chance for regaining the initiative.
The Conservatives will be last to announce their candidate. All parties will now be waiting for the date of the general election.
What's interesting is that the 4 candidates for the main parties will be different from the last general election. And you saw in that report it was the Greens who gained the most in their last election in 2005. I spoke to them today. They're incredibly confident, in fact, that they will have the UK's first Green MP, but all the parties will be watching who is chosen for the Conservatives very closely.
OK, Bryony, thank you.